Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory, professional striking coach and first coach to crack punching power and be able to teach punching power to any person on the planet. Check out Fouts Boxing Combat System. In the open stance matchup, it's very commonly understood that you need to control your opponent, right? And this is often done with lead hand control. People will come to the line, and you notice Luis Ortiz getting to the line here and trying to control Deontay Wilder's position, getting feinted as he leaves. But notice as they meet on the line here, they get their lead hand out there. This is done to prevent your opponent mostly from bringing their head across the line, but also most importantly, their foot here. We don't want their their opponent to get the foot outside of your foot to get the lead foot dominance, because this makes it a little bit easier, a little bit safer for you, because you have a place to hide your head on the outside of their line. Okay, when they try to throw punches, or specifically this punch, their lead hand. um, you can get outside of it a little bit, and it's very important to stop your opponent because that makes it easier. Also, you get closer to land your power shot, your rear shot. So Deontay Wilder, as he's circling, is constantly trying to look for an opportunity to get to a position where he can get lead foot dominance, and then see if he can hit his opponent, see if he can hit him with a rear hand. Now, that's like obviously the most common strategy, not just for Deontay Wilder, but for anybody. As we see Luis Ortiz here jumping on the line control. He's going on the inside here, but one of the other things that Luis Ortiz needs to do is he's just too far away to hit Wilder. So going on the inside of the line, being the smaller guy, is not the worst idea. Like if you have to, I think lead foot dominance is still more valuable and better, more safe. Because on the inside of the line, he's right here. If Deontay Wilder stayed, he could be hit by either hand very easily. He's right in Deontay Wilder's powerhouse. um, but Deontay Wilder is, however, and it's very interesting because we're going to talk a lot. We have a lot of clips to go over. But as he controls space, right, control that lead hand control, he's going to be getting there with that lead hand control. And what does he do off of it? Well, Deontay Wilder a lot of times doesn't really do anything. Okay. Now, if in this clip we have Ortiz getting to the line and he was controlling space on that same rhythm, that same pace as Deontay Wilder, beat, beat, beat. Um, and then instead he went to attack, right? And Deontay Wilder was going to control space and leave, control space and leave, control space, and then try to leave. He wasn't really getting there to throw a punch. And because of the fact that he's more often looking to leave the line, because he's not actually that active, he doesn't throw that many rear hands. But if you're controlling space the whole time with your lead hand on every beat, that means you're also not jabbing with it, which just means that there's just not a lot going on. So, this whole idea is going to be very, very, very interesting for the whole idea and the whole framing of the fight, because well, you'll see. Now, real quick, stick around for the end of the video or toward the end of the video for an opportunity to win a free Fouts Boxing Combat System. We're going to talk about the Fouts Boxing Combat System a little bit later. And in the background here, we've got one of my students here. You can kind of guess which one if you want. In the background, go ahead and that'll be in the background as we change clips and stuff. But getting to the line again, lead hand control artist. He's going to get here. He's going to get here. And now again, most of the time when he gets here, he's just looking to control space so he can circle, he can move. He's not looking to be that active. And Ortiz is going to catch him on second contact here, beat as he's trying to leave. He feints him, right? Control, control, control. Now, Wilder, was that a jab or was that a control, right? Now again, same thing. A lot of controls, but not a lot of attacking. Not a lot of offense from Wilder. Now, I do want to say, and we're going to talk a little bit about this a little bit later. Controls of the lead hand, pulls off the line. This timing here is where the same timing that Ryan Garcia got Devin Haney with, where he pulls to the back foot and kind of leaps in off of a pendulum step kind of thing, where you're coming out of that. But getting pushed off of his line, it's really interesting that as dangerous as Deontay Wilder is, he doesn't really sit down and throw that rear hand all that much. Okay, now, as he gets pushed off the line for the second time, right, here's that lead hand control timing, boom, Deontay Wilder goes to touch the line with the lead hand. His next move was very likely going to be take a step off the line, and Ortiz just jumps onto his line and immediately throws a rear hand and cracks Deontay Wilder. Now, Luis Ortiz is smaller. He's a fat heavyweight. Big Bang is taller. He's also a fat heavyweight. Luis Ortiz is, still pretty strong and pretty jacked for being fat. Big Bang is very strong and punches very hard, even though he's fat, especially because he's fat. Get a little bit of that. We all saw Ryan Garcia running around with the weight vest on, right? And trying to put on a little weight and get those. Anyway, lead hand control. Now it's interesting because there aren't very many other timings for Deontay Wilder to make his own attacks. So the fact that Deontay Wilder doesn't really pull counter, right, as we see here, control, because of this idea here, right, like it's not easy to hit Deontay Wilder, but he does leave the line pretty quickly, so you do have to be fast. You do have to try really hard to hit him, right? You do have to do it at a very athletic pace. Otherwise, like Helenius saw, he'll jump back off the line and crack you. Do we got a clip of that, young Jamie? Yeah, go ahead. Boom! And then Helenius is out. Now, just as he found out, right, he's always dangerous with that too. You can't just follow him around. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But this most common timing with the two coming out, right, off the lead hand control, every southpaw's seen it. It's the majority of their offense. It's very basic. It's one of the reasons why Ortiz was throwing so many more punches than Wilder in this fight, because he's more comfortable crossing the line. He's more comfortable throwing that rear hand. Right now, the pull counter, a few things to note. After that rear hand comes from Wilder, he's usually shifting forward off of the momentum of this punch. Now, Deontay Wilder is a good puncher with the rear hand. He does have a pretty hard left hook too, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But he doesn't protect his punches very well. His defense after is not very good. He doesn't block, and it's a similar problem that Devin Haney has. However, Devin Haney jumps off the ground to throw his punch much earlier in the overall scheme of throwing this punch and his punch technique, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But don't get hit, bro. Now, very interesting, right? Controlling the line, stepping jab, okay? As Deontay Wilder is circling, takes a stepping jab, one of the things that he's always doing is stepping with his punches, right? And it's going to make it very, very difficult for him to sneak up on his opponent. Now, as he jumps in, again, at a high level, it's going to be really easy to see. You're going to be expecting, just like right after Deontay Wilder touches the line and he's about to leave, when they're playing that game of that lead hand control, they're already expecting, right? Expecting something off that timing or off that rhythm or off that pace. And Deontay Wilder lunges in here off of his stepping jab, and he gets followed back. Okay, this is really, really, really dangerous because he winds up getting, with the stepping jab, look at Luis Ortiz able to accomplish getting lead foot dominance here and then setting up a two. Okay, now it's very, 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 boom, very, very dangerous. It does wind up mostly getting blocked here, maybe because the shot, is their forearms collide and all that fun stuff. But the danger of jumping on the line with your stepping jab is very, very high. And again, it's one of those things that, number one, Deontay Wilder being a hard puncher, not everyone is going to be super eager to be countering him, right? Now this is their second fight. Okay, so Luis Ortiz already understands, oh, the timing, that he knows when he's safe-ish, you know, when he's in danger-ish. He does wind up getting KO'd in this fight. No, he did after all get knocked out, right? So let's go ahead and get back into those clips. Now again, doesn't have the highest guard here. When he gets to the line, gets hit with this jab. Not a big deal. Um, but when we get to a little bit of what's going on with Big Bang Zhang, we're going to see why getting hit with your hands down on first contact will be a little bit of a problem. But Wilder getting to the line here with a jab, and now again, the second beat of that being another jab. But Ortiz, even though, like, oh, did he know it was going to jab there? Did he know A, B, C? Or he's just being wary, just like Wilder being wary and leaving the line and exposing his line for Ortiz to attack him and jump on the line with the two. Boom. Look at him try to be fast here with the 1-2. Again, just like I said a few minutes ago, it's very difficult to sneak up on a guy when you have to step with all of your punches. But very, very, very difficult to sneak up on a southpaw. Again, we see it touching here, touching there, pushing him off the line. And then again, even jumping on the line, step, boom, boom. And because Deontay Wilder has to always kind of jump into these punches, jump into his sequences off of the jab, which, most of the time, not really a problem, right? He's really fast, he punches really hard. Um, it just makes it difficult for him to sneak up on a guy, and the fact that he spends so much time circling and moving around means that he's also just not finding that much offense, not throwing that many punches. Now, there's a lot of clips to go over, a lot of stuff to talk about. Controlling the line, pushing him off the line. Um, but again, there are some things in the fight that might not work out so poorly um, for Wilder. Now, controlling the line, controlling the line. Now he's going to get to the line, controlling with the jab here, and then see he kind of moves onto the line here and throws this hook. Now, this is exactly the same sequence that Ryan Garcia caught Devin Haney with. Right here. Boom. There's a variation of it right there. And again, very, very similar to what Deontay Wilder is kind of accomplishing here, getting control of the line, and then being able to kind of explode onto it a little bit faster of a timing. Now, again, Deontay Wilder is used to doing this to a smaller guy. It may be a little bit more difficult to do it to a guy who's a little bit bigger, but also a guy who's not looking to step onto the inside of your line. Okay, again, the hook being a punch that's going to be easier when you have lead foot dominance. You can still land it from either side, but especially when a guy is taking a step onto the inside, it just makes the timing of that just so much easier to kind of slap into it. Okay, now, again, great lead hand control, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. Oh, bro, don't get hit there. Illuminati, Illuminati. Here we go. Now, again, controlling the line with that feint here, and then jumping on the line, making his opponent think, oh, it's going to be a jab, it's going to be this, jumping on the line with a 3-2. Now, Deontay Wilder falling massively off balance here, okay? Boom. Doing a good job of 2-foot punching, at least driving off the front foot, down, up. And again, Deontay Wilder, a notoriously hard puncher. If you guys want to learn more about 2-foot punching, and you guys want to learn more about all the techniques involved in punching and all the techniques involved in striking, Check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. I'm the first coach in history to figure out how 2 foot punching works and how to use every single part of your kinetic chain to generate power so that you can learn to develop snap as well. Now, a lot of people think that uh, those things cannot be taught. If you've heard or watched anything about Ryan Garcia, and his fights this weekend, everyone was saying it's God given, it's this, it's that, all that fun stuff. But I will teach you exactly what it is that Ryan Garcia is doing with his hands, what technique he's using to generate that speed, and not only that, but I'm going to teach you how to do that and generate power as well. Okay, not that Ryan Garcia doesn't hit hard, but I'm going to teach it how to be more correct. There are still some things that Ryan Garcia doesn't do correctly, but it's not God given. Ryan Garcia worked really hard at it. He worked really hard, and that's how he got that speed. Okay, people are saying it's legendary, right? Might be a legendary fighter because of that ass whooping he gave to Devin Haney. Now, maybe, but if you guys want your opportunity to be a legendary fighter, learn all the techniques, not only learn how to throw your hardest punch, but learn how to improve your punching power. Okay, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. Check out the reviews in my channel about punching power. But also check out the reviews on the Fouts Boxing Combat System. All right, roll that footage on those. There we go. Great course, longtime supporter, blah, blah, blah. This course is underpriced. Check it out, all the mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Yep, great. Numerous coaches. This course is worth $3,000 on its own. This is revolutionary, leaves no questions unanswered. You'll never know what, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. But check it out, Faust Boxing Combat System. Guaranteed to teach anybody punching power, how punching power works. So you can punch your hardest and then improve it. Okay. But also, another cool thing is once you master that, because that's a fun, nice little party trick. It's really cool. But that's also separate from fighting. And if you want to understand how to put that together with an actual combat system to know how to not only throw your best punch, but how to get into position to hit your opponent with your best punch, as you can kind of see in the clips behind. Well, can't defend his punch right here, but as you can kind of see here with one of my students, and this guy in the white headgear is my student here. He has 0 fights. Um, Trains hard, works hard, sends in lots of videos. Um, but he fights Orthodox and Southpaw. But anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get back into the film study. Did that not open? Yeah, it did. Okay. Now, Deontay Wilder doesn't defend second contact very well. A lot of times, if he wasn't intending to attack, he's looking to just kind of leave the line, not really looking to fight off of any of those things. He doesn't really pull counter very well. He doesn't really have defense once he gets there. It's just he's hoping his best to control you long enough to get you to stand in front of him long enough that he can land his right hand. Now, a few of the times when he's not controlling space, he'll do other things with his lead hand when he's not actually just probing with it. And in this sequence here, he kind of predicts that it's going to be a body shot here and counters with the hook. This kind of, I know everyone is looking for the right hand to be the most effective punch, but if Deontay Wilder didn't have a left hand, he would get probably knocked out guaranteed in the first round. So the left hand having power is going to be very, very, very important because, as we saw in the last clip, Deontay Wilder's ability to defend his right hand is very low. Right, he falls massively off balance. It's a huge punch, but very difficult for him to follow up those shots. Now, um, as we see him throw this shot here, throws the hook, boom, boom, doesn't defend that punch very well either, right? I have a rule: after you throw that punch, you have to get down. After you have to get your feet back to the ground and get planted so you can throw another one of those big rocket haymakers. And the guy who can do this the fastest usually wins the fight. Tank Davis, right? Super fast at that. But Deontay Wilder doesn't even try. He doesn't practice pull counters. It's not usually something the guy who's usually the tallest is like, oh, I'm gonna pull counter this short guy's move. Nah, right? It's not usually a skill. The only thing is, he's not the tall guy in the fight anymore, right? It's not him anymore. I mean, it's still him, but now again on the back foot here, and see him taking a step here, telling on himself, throwing this right hand. This is going to be very, very, very bad for him as well. Again, um, he's not throwing his stepping jab, which is super fast as well. So this does help him conserve a little bit of energy, right? Trying to time it as his opponent gets to the line. Boom. So he doesn't have to explode. But, well, Big Bang also likes to counter with his right hook as well, as we saw Wilder countering with his left hook against Ortiz. And Deontay Wilder, again, keeping his hand very low, usually guarded by his range, by the fact that people are worried about that right hand just coming out, so they don't want to get in. Again, he's going to have a little bit more difficulty doing that against somebody that has as much of height, reach, um, but as well as power, and like Big Bang Zhang also has like a decent guard. Now, throwing the stepping jab here again, very, very dangerous. Always stepping jab, timing it, following him back, penduluming onto his line. And again, Deontay Wilder, not very good from this position. Now, one of the things that really separates Zhang from a lot of fighters, not only is his terrible gas tank, his very, very, very below average gas tank, oof, um, but his hand speed is really actually quite incredible. It's really fast. His ability to put two and three punches together, it makes him very, very, very exceptionally dangerous. Now, I want you to check this out too, because Deontay Wilder likes to circle to the left, and look at him kind of get the ring just a little bit cut off on him here and kind of stumble. That was just enough, to put him out of position and enough probably to stop him from maybe throwing a hard right hand, maybe, right? But it's enough to get him to stumble because he knows he's about to move into range, but it didn't take a lot while he's circling. And he rather chose to kind of stumble there rather than to change directions. And I think that Deontay Wilder circling to the right, he's just not nearly as good, but he's also like not that good at circling to the left either. Okay, and this is really, really, really important because when we reanalyze and again think about what happened in the Ryan Garcia fight with Devin Haney, Devin Haney was beating Ryan Garcia on average almost every second of the fight while Ryan Garcia was moving backwards. Every time that Devin Haney got hit or hurt, um, Ryan Garcia was coming forward. There was one time where he kind of tried to come forward and then Haney countered him, and then tried to come forward and then Haney countered him, and then he came forward, got Haney to kind of come forward with that timing, and then he cracked him, you know. But that was still based off of his own jab and his own probe, and his ability to go forward. All the stuff he did basically going backwards, he got beat up. And a lot of the danger that you have over a guy, right? And this is why Devin Haney will very likely never beat Ryan. Um, unless he learns some new drills. Check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. Again, don't forget, for your chance to win a free Fouts Boxing Combat System, stick around towards the end of the video. I'm not sure when I'll give the question, but anyway, blah blah blah. Circling to the left is not always that good for him. Okay, it's also very predictable. Also, stepping jab gets cracked. Okay, circling, boom. This guy just jumped on his line and threw a huge combination. Was is any of this good defense? And it's going to be really interesting because Zhang has such good hand speed. If he can just jump on Deontay Wilder's line, shoot a 1-2 at him real quick, right? Follow back his jab. Just jump onto his line here. Boom, control him real quick. Pop, 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 pop. And again, Zhang is a little bit bigger. He's a little bit bigger than Wilder. Uh, a lot bigger than Ortiz, I think. I think Zhang is bigger than Wilder. He's definitely more mass. He's definitely going to weigh more. Now, as he gets on the line, control, control, it does take Wilder an extra beat to get back with that hook. And again, I don't know that Wilder is going to be able to hurt Zhang with his left hook. We're going to be waiting for the right hand. Um, with this kind of 50-50 here, and again, we're going to be talking about this. Zhang can usually let his two go really quickly. He doesn't usually have to take two steps. Okay, now as we take a look at um, Ortiz when he throws his first jab, look where his foot lands. Right, he didn't really get that close. He has to get so close because he's so small. And again, that's why he usually goes to the inside. He's throwing a body shot here. He probably goes to the inside to throw his head shot. Um, but parrying the jab. Now again, if Deontay Wilder is not specifically throwing his two, his ability to defend his jab, his stepping jab, why it's always a stepping jab, the world may never know. No, because we fight how we train, that's why. But very, very bad for him to get hit here. And all this stuff is very important because, again, while he's circling, Deontay Wilder doesn't really have all that many ways to attack you. He doesn't have all that many ways, right, to threaten your position. And Zhang getting to this position, right, again, this is going to be very, very dangerous for Wilder as well because his guard is really low. Allowing a small fighter like this to get to him. Deontay Wilder doesn't have pull counters, right? So he's going to be pulling straight back, which usually works when you're fighting smaller guys, right? And you've always been the bigger guy, but not always when you're the smaller guy. Now, it's also that they're maybe the same size, who knows, but it's different when the guy's not definitely smaller than you. Now, 1-2, his back leg is coming up off the ground after he throws the shot. He's not going to be able to follow up or chain anything off of this move. And again, that idea is going to be very, very dangerous for him. Even though we do know that it's like an opportunity for like a big knockout, big shot. Now, circling here again, for all the time that he spends circling, trying to move around the line, where's the hook here? Where's the jab? Where's the control of space before he leaves? Where's the trap off the hook? Where's the it's really obvious this guy's about to jump on his line, and he's just exposing his line for an entire beat to an entire huge power punch. There's no trap. There's no, um, and again, it all comes down to a lot of Deontay Wilder's very, very, very poor footwork. Okay. Now, that's actually not even a good shot to take. You don't want to be taking shots like that to the liver, to the body, to that side of the body. Now, again, stepping jab, parried, countered. Again, Deontay Wilder, that very, very, very predictable style, stabbing jab here. And again, I think that it's going to play a huge, huge part in the fight. Again, as well as first contact, second contact. Is there a counter? Is there any defense here off of this? Very, very common type of punch. Um, again, this is one of those things that you just can't let your opponent just keep throwing power punches at you. And if you can't counter and you can't defend them, just like we saw with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, people thought he has really good defense, but if your defense is just jumping off the line, right, and then like usually like that's good enough. Like people have bad footwork as well. Like Deontay Wilder has have a terrible time chasing guys down. If he can't hit you with the 1-2, like you're probably gonna get away from him, right? Joseph Parker. Okay. Now, No real defense there, no counters, no boom again, over and over and over again. If this was a hook to the head, right? Now, we can't, if you're Deontay Wilder, you can't let a guy have that type of inevitability where they're just allowed to throw that many punches at you. Now, jumps on the line with the 1-2. And again, what I talked about earlier, being very, very, very exposed to the hook here. Now, look at the position they're in. Deontay Wilder is landing a right hand. He's trading it for a hook. Okay. Does Zhang have a good enough hook? Because he will be trying to counter those punches with his hook. We're going to talk about that. We're going to take a look at those clips. But who's going to come out ahead if they hit each other, right? Which is definitely one of those very, 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 very possible outcomes. Now, again, circling to the left, super easy to jump onto Deontay Wilder's line when he gets to this front foot here. Is he going to throw a hook? Is he going to throw a rear hand? Is he going to do? Nah, he's probably just going to very obviously have no trap. As soon as the ring gets cut off, get punched. And again, it's a very, very, very common pattern. Throws the one, stepping jab, gets cracked again. Again, no real traps while he's circling. It's very, very, very difficult because of that stepping punch for him to sneak up on this guy. Getting feinted, feinted again, and then again, no defense. No defense. Just allowing Ortiz to get on his line and throw big, huge punches at him. And this is not even late in the fight, right? Deontay Wilder just is always fighting like somebody who's tired. Now, throwing the two, and like, this guy's chilling. He's like scratching his nose and shit. Pull counter, right? Now, uh, will Zhang have pull counters? I think Zhang has pull counters. We're gonna see. We're gonna see some of his defenses there, but seeing the rear hand come, not that difficult in the open stance. You're kind of waiting for it off your lead hand here. Now, very, very, very important. Wilder or Ortiz gets on the line with the rear hand here, kind of clobbers him, and Wilder is expecting lead hand control, but it winds up being a rear hand. Okay, and this is very, 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 very important for later. And this is also a move that Zhang can do where he throws a rear hand, boom, and he pendulums and throws another rear hand, boom, boom, boom. But however, Zhang can also throw a really powerful hook. Now, again, look at this beating that Deontay Wilder is taking from this littler guy, right? Bro, yeah, the bronze bomber. That's like really impressive, dude. Like, look at him try to intimidate him. Jumps on the line again, smacks him. He all that to amp himself up, and he's still not ready, right? That's like, you know, I know Zab Judah, you're like my favorite, bro. But when he did that against Cotto to try to show that he had heart, and it's like, bro, you're getting beat up, dog. Come on, can you just punch him in the face instead? Getting feinted, boom, boom. No counters. Now, Deontay Wilder kind of telling on himself, no counter. Oh, you're not going to counter? You're going to block? Okay. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, gotcha. Okay, nothing. Boom. Gotcha. Nothing. I mean, he's just letting him beat him up, right? Over and over and over again. Countering the stepping jab. Again, getting on the line. Boom, boom, boom. Now, see his hand low here? And notice he's not actually looking to control the line on first contact. He's not controlling him with the lead hand here. He's kind of inviting him in. He will do this thing where he'll try to counter with the hook on these types of beats, and I do think it's something that Zhang needs to be worried about. However, I don't think Wilder is as good of a puncher with his left hook as he is with the right hand, and Zhang has a really, 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 really big, huge head. You know, don't let Deontay Wilder hit you in the head with a left hook, you are not going to have a good time. Mm, Not having a good time there, is he? So don't let Deontay Wilder catch you with the left hook, okay? But it is going to be one of those things that also might get him in a little bit of trouble. If the jab comes and then he can pull and then counter that hook with the right hand. We did see Ortiz set traps for that earlier in the film study. Not great traps. Now again, no lead hand control, nothing. Look at Ortiz even try to reach for it, and then as he comes forward trying to time it, right, throw that jab, Wilder trying to hit him with the kind of a hook thing here. Again, not great, right, but like not the worst. Now, another one of those little moves that he does, gets to the line, lead hand control, and then I think right here he thinks Wilder's going to throw a rear hand, and but he throws a body shot here, and I think that this is not going to be a very good move for Wilder. I think that this is going to be a really bad move, and if he does this move, the likelihood that he gets knocked out is going to be really high. Again, look at how badly off balance he winds up being. Controlling space, controlling space. Now, we see him coming forward here, right? And I want to point out this lead hand control that he's doing here is different than the one he's normally doing, right? Now, watch him control as he's taking the step one, two. Again, it's very, very, very obvious, gets a lot of weight into it, still gets cracked, doesn't prevent or protect the punch very well. Um, you know, what else can you say? There's just, even though it's his, that's his bronze bomb, you know, um, his ability to throw this punch safely, I think, is going to be, um, even if he's trying to throw the hook after, which, I think will be very dangerous for him. Um, uh, if he can't throw that punch, because if he's going to be throwing a counter hook here, right, boom, it has to be able to get there on the same timing that the rear hand from Ortiz gets there, right? And if not, he's already behind because Ortiz did two moves there. He pulled, and then he had to get back to the line with that shot. That's the same timing that it would take for a left hook there to get there from Wilder. So he's just a little bit behind. Can't even protect it with the most obvious a punch. You know. Now I know we're deep in the film study. We still got a lot of clips. Again, decent hook, right? Decent hook. Um, Now didn't get off the line from the two. Okay, a few things about that. Again, Zhang is very, very, very fast hands, and when we take a look at what Zhang can do when we get to that part of the film study, counter, counter, um, getting stuck on the line with Ortiz, and again throwing that shot here. Again, I don't think that's a good shot. This guy is on the inside of Wilder's line, still cracking him here. Again, still countering his jab with ease. Again, Deontay Wilder kind of got messed up most of this fight. Now, some very, very interesting stuff. Um, Ortiz is kind of one of those, obviously everybody knows if you know boxing and you're like a big fan, he's a Cuban fighter, and those guys are notorious. They're not really those big head movement guys, especially the southpaws. They're like rear foot snipers. And he's just going to sit on the back foot, waiting and waiting and waiting until he's going to explode, wah, and throw a shot. But in this clip right here, we kind of see Ortiz coming forward, and he's going to start moving his head. And this is one of the few times that he kind of does this the entire fight. And you see Wilder notice that he moved to the front foot and then be like, oh, kind of tried to slap him a little bit, right? He kind of understood that he was on that side of the line for the second. He's like, whoa, what is that? Throws another hook to keep circling, another jab to keep circling. And Ortiz makes an adjustment, puts his head to that other side of the line to get by that lead hand control. Now, Ortiz is not using lead hand control right now. Notice at the beginning of the fight when he would battle that lead hand, he would control it, he would keep it out of his face, he would, right? And then he would fight off of it. It was part of his game plan. Okay. But he's all of a sudden, he's super excited. He's been busting Wilder up, just massacring him the whole fight. And now Wilder throws a jab, a little feint, right? Just a little feint. He has already predicted that Ortiz is going to slip his head just a little bit to the front foot. He's shown him that move twice in a row now, and then cracks him with that right hand. Now, is that the face of a guy that has been dominating a fight? That's the face of a guy that's maybe dead tired. He just got cracked. He's exhausted. This guy is so discombobulated. He's just a sack of potatoes. He's gone. Luis Ortiz took 3 seconds off from beating Deontay Wilder's ass and got knocked out for it. Devin Haney had to take 6 seconds off. 9 seconds, he got dropped, dropped 5 times technically. Look at him. He's gone. All right. Get out of here, you jamoke. This is probably another video. Yeah. This is another video. Ah, okay. Now, here we get into the Big Bang Zhang stuff. All right. Now, again, a lead hand guy, right? Fighting off the lead hand. I think that Joe Joyce is a pretty good example because he's a little bit awkward with his footwork, a little bit of this. But we're also going to be watching a lot of um, we're also going to be watching a lot of the Parker fight as well. And when we talk about a little bit of the fight theory and stuff and what I think, not just what the film says, because this is all what the film says. This is not my opinion, right? This is facts, right? Can't argue with the facts. Lead hand control into a 2. Right off that lead hand control, bop, bop, bop. He's super fast going from here to here. And again, Deontay Wilder was not, right? Deontay Wilder, it was easy for, even off of a stepping jab, for Ortiz to get to a position where he could jab and throw a 2 and still catch Deontay Wilder, right? Big Bang Zhang doesn't need to step. He's already there. He's the bigger guy. He's the mountain here, right? Now, as he gets to the line, control here, boom, tries to go around. Big Bang's he already sees it. Now, jumping into this 2 here off that lead hand control, his opponent's about to get to the front foot, and he's throwing a 2 instead. The only time that we saw Luis Ortiz attempt even a similar type of movement, he smacked Deontay Wilder in the face. Now, it's not easy for Luis Ortiz to do that because the ring has to basically be cut off already, or he has to already be on the inside of Deontay Wilder's line. If he gets to the inside of Deontay Wilder's line, usually the only time that happens is when Deontay Wilder says, I'm going to go to the inside of your line. I'm going to put you to the inside of my line here. And that means that he's taking lead foot dominance, which means he's about to throw a right hand. So the only time that Luis Ortiz is able to throw his rear hand as a probe in that fight is when it's actually not a probe. It actually has to be a counter because Deontay Wilder is initiating, or he has to do it off of a little stepping jab. Right? So he's just not in position to use that tool effectively. Anyway, Zhang is going to be in position. Zhang is also going to be able to sneak into position with his lead foot a lot easier than somebody who's like, how tall is Luis Ortiz? Like 5'10", 5'11"? Is he even 6 feet, 6'1", maybe? Anyway, but those shots come very, very, very fast from Zhang. He's very, very, very quick. Did that one actually open? No. Controlling the lead hand. Now, watch as Joe Joyce gets to the front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot, stepping jab, catches it, parries that shit easy. Easy work. Easy work. And he's off the line, moving away from the two, right? The hook comes around the jab right there, the lead hand control. Zhang kind of sees it coming. Now, if you throw it fast enough, you're going to get him, right? If you throw it fast enough, right? But you really got to be on time to sneak up on Zhang. It's not that easy to sneak up on Zhang when he's really on his shit, you know? Boom, jumps on the line with the three, gets lead hand, lead foot dominance, controls the lead hand, throws the two. And again, Zhang likes to throw this shot a lot. Now, this is also a rematch. Okay, it's very, very, very interesting because Zhang won the rematch, right? Wilder won the first, or Zhang won the first fight. Wilder won the first fight, but Ortiz was winning the first fight before he got knocked out by Wilder, so he was just kind of doing the same thing that he was doing, putting it on him, and then gets knocked out, right? But this is, you know, um, this is Zhang doing even better in this fight than he did in the previous fight. Again, controlling. Not easy to sneak up on him. Throws a 1-2, random 1-2. Not easy to get him to the head. Again, even though the timing is coming, boom. I do want to say real quick, because this is going to be a really important thing too. Um, penduluming onto the line, again, not super sneaky. Oh man, this video kind of got jacked. Good control of the line. There you go. Now, Zhang doesn't always move his head here. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. Even though he's kind of aware of somebody's weight coming forward with that shoulder feint timing, we're going to talk about that, especially as the fight wears on. Not necessarily just because he's necessarily tired, but sometimes, now again, moving off the line from the, not moving his head, but moving his body, right? Again, this is one of those things. This is not a pull counter. This is similar to pulling, if you were in the orthodox or the closed stance, orthodox, people would call this pulling straight back. And if you just take a small step with the pulling straight back, then you're just taking a step off the line. Your head kind of moves in this linear direction. In the open stance, because of the way that your lines are going here, like this, and then the way that they're going to intersect, pulling straight back gets you away from the line of the punch that you're being attacked on. So it usually works. However, Deontay Wilder is really fast with his 1-2, right? As we saw how quickly he threw that shot. Now, when Zhang is usually being pretty defensive, it's not always going to be that easy to catch him, right? But as he gets more offensive and he starts smelling, I think, blood in the water, I think it becomes easier to hit him on second contact. I think it becomes a little bit easier to sneak up on him. And his defense kind of wanes quite a bit, and I think this is going to have a significant impact on the fight. Boom. Now, Deontay Wilder likes to approach the line with that left hand down sometimes, especially when he's about to throw it, right? And we see the stepping jab from Ortiz. He was able to catch and parry that shot and counter it. We see it here. Ortiz doesn't even, or Zhang doesn't even need to interact with that shot, right? He immediately just goes straight for the counter, times it perfectly, boom, hits him with the 1-2. Now, the reason that I say that it's going to have a significant impact on the fight, that Zhang is going to get kind of relaxed, is Deontay Wilder is gonna get hurt, and I think he's gonna be the first to get hurt. Okay, He might not be the last to get hurt, but I think he's going to be the first to get hurt. And I think that he's easy to hit. His circling is really bad. Um, there are a lot of things that he needs to work on. But as soon as he starts getting hit, um, just like with Ortiz there, um, Ortiz kind of got relaxed in what he was doing. He kind of chilled and put himself in a new position and got knocked out. But Deontay Wilder, after taking a beating, was still fresh enough to explode into that 1-2. Now, um, Joe Joyce likes to circle to the left. Deontay Wilder likes to circle to the left. They both like circling to the same direction. And Zhang is bigger, right? Zhang controlling space with the rear hand, getting on the line with the rear hand instead of the jab into the 2, or into the 3, the leaping shot, and then into another shot. Now, Luis Ortiz would throw that shot and then pendulum and then throw a 2 again. Uh, Zhang here is throwing 3 punches, leaping and still landing a really good shot, and still basically being in position to continue the onslaught. And again, just battering Joe Joyce as Joe Joyce tries to circle to the left. And again, I don't think Deontay Wilder is very good at circling to the right. He has almost no punches going that direction. He really has to get his momentum going, circling to the left. Um, and as we see here, Big Bang just jumps on his line and starts beating him up. He has complete advantage on the line. He could throw either punch. He knew the rhythm, the timing. He's ready for a pull counter here, slipping this shot. Now, is that not just exactly what Luis Ortiz got knocked out doing? Slipping to the front foot. Now, technically, this would be like a pull counter, right? If he slipped to the front foot and then you come back with the hook. And pull counters are susceptible to combination punching. If you try to pull counter a guy's jab, but he really threw a 1-2, you're going to move off the line of while the 1 is there, and then onto the line to throw your counter while the 2 is there. If Zhang is coming forward while he smells blood in the water and he's doing stuff like this, there's a decent chance, especially after hurting Mr. Bambi Legs, right? Deontay Wilder always looks like he's hurt when he's walking around. He always looks like that. But there's not a lot of recovering from Deontay Wilder's punch, right? Tyson Fury got up. Apparently they gave him extra time. Real quick, trading punches here. Now, this is really important too, okay? As he gets to the front foot, as Zhang gets to the front foot, he's expecting a jab or a lead hand, and Zhang is getting there with the rear hand. And this is one of those punches that, again, is very difficult to throw if you're so far away from your opponent, especially to the head. Okay, now Zhang is going to be able to hit Wilder not only while Wilder is shelling up, trying to circle and step to the left and pivot to the left, but also while he's controlling with the lead hand, because Zhang is going to be able to sneak up on him, especially after he's hurt him. Okay, so a lot of information there, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff. Now again, Zhang is very, very, very versatile, very, very difficult to fight, very, very fast hands, controlling that space, countering this shot here. And again, if Deontay Wilder is stepping with his jabs, he's smacking him with 2 punches here. If that becomes something that Zhang can read, right, then this is like a very, very easy move for him to wait for Wilder to do, because Wilder can't just let him go first. He's going to throw something. Stepping jab, why not? Counter him with the stepping hook /2. And again, I think that, unfortunately for Wilder, there are just so many spaces, right? Now, controlling space here. Look at him touch him with the rear hand here. Okay? Zhang is not paying attention at all. And this is not the kind of thing that you can do in front of Deontay Wilder. This is basically the only place that I think Wilder has to win the fight, is if Zhang starts to take the fight easy. He starts to chill. He starts to just be like, okay, well, I'm not really worried. Boom. Now, again, gets on the line with the rear hand. Deontay Wilder often controls space, either by trying to counter with the hook or trying to control space with the lead hand. Both of those moves are going to be weak to this rear hand probe from Big Bang. Right? Now, if Wilder lands the hook and Zhang lands the rear hand, who wins? I think Zhang wins that one. Right? Now, don't mean we're not going to see it. Gets on the line with the rear hand again. Into a three. Two big power punches. Right? And then again, he can leap into that and throw another shot. And all of this off the back of what? Our opponent controlling space with the lead hand here. Now, he did try to block it. I think he was expecting it. But if it winds up being from Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder gets in this position and he's on Bambi legs. We saw him many, many, many times making full front pivots right here. If he makes a full front pivot in front of Big Bang Zhang here, boom, 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 boom. Come on. Look at this guy. His elite hand speed. And then again, look at how quick he is when you get to that front foot against him. Boom. Look at that shot. Into another 2-3. And then still defense. Now. Fuck him up, bro. Get him. We still got a lot of clips going. Now again, getting to the line with the rear hand off of all those lead hand controls. Rear hand, lead hand. Again, so many combinations. And here's the problem. Deontay Wilder looks hurt even when he's not hurt. Okay? He's not going to be able to take combinations like this. It's like David Lemieux when he gets hit. He just looks so bad. Right? Didn't he rock David Benavidez? He rocked him, right? But no chance for him to stay in the fight long enough to really allow that to pay off. Man, just killing him with that shot. And again, I don't think that I don't know what I was saying. Now again, circling. Where's he gonna go? Boom, boom. Again, I think that Deontay Wilder's going to be in trouble. His circling is going to get him in trouble. His bad pivoting is going to get him in trouble. The fact that his footwork is bad is going to get him in trouble. Now, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the fight. Number one, again, second contact. If Deontay Wilder can circle to the right and can throw punches like a 1-2 here, a quick shot here, again, I do think that Zhang is aware of first contact and he's not going to be necessarily easy to sneak up on. But Big Bang Zhang doesn't always move his head. Okay? Now, is he really going to be not prepared for the only punch that everyone knows that Deontay Wilder has? Like, come on, if you know a guy only has one punch, what kind of idiot would you have to be to get knocked out by that one punch? Devin Haney? Ryan Garcia, huh? Well, that's not how boxing works, right? Anybody saying, like, there's a lot of people saying, oh, he got to hold the phone. He should have just held the phone the whole time. That's not how boxing works. That's not how boxing works. Just no, okay? Um, you're gonna get outboxed sometimes. You're gonna get put into a position. You're gonna get walked into a punch. That's what boxing is. That's what it is. That's what you're supposed to do. Right? That's what having a ring IQ is. Is, oh, your guard is over here? Oh, okay, I know that I can find an opening here, right? But as we take a look at Zhang, we're going to see a lot of actual holes here. Now again, look at him coming forward. Not that, is he just not ready for Parker? Is it this? Is it that? Is it, well, the real problem is that in spite of the fact that Zhang has incredible hand speed, he's fast, he's talented, he doesn't throw that many punches. Okay, so it's not like there's just not that many holes. It's just that, just like Wilder shows, understanding that lead hand control is the most first basic step of the fight, it, at a high level, it just takes more, right? And Big Bang Zhang, one of the big problems that he has is he does get tired, so he does try to fight at a conservative-ish pace. Now, controlling the lead hand right there and then stepping into the jab may be a very effective move for him. That may be like something that lands for him. Boom, stepping jab, right, against Wilder. Whether it's something he wants to do, jumping into the line, maybe he gets hit with a two after, this is and that. But he's fast. That's more important. Moving straight into the rear hand right here. Very, very, very fast, very dangerous, very unpredictable. And again, I think that is going to be one of the more effective things against Wilder, the lead rear hand. Now, is Zhang always going to be prepared for the rear hand? Well, I thought that one was kind of touching him on the chin here. Okay, now the rear hand comes. Is he countering this rear hand? Look at how far off Parker falls off balance. Okay, that means that Wilder may have some opportunities to throw his rear hand and still be safe. Okay, because if Zhang has to be worried about it, he may not feel comfortable interacting with it. Now, this is like one of the worst parts for Deontay Wilder. This is so insane. Okay. Parker's going to jump on the line here. Bah! With the one. It gets kind of blocked by Zhang, and then Zhang slips and throws the two and lands on Parker. And then Parker holds. And then he throws a three. Zhang is so fast. He's making three moves right here while Parker is making two. But Parker is trying to throw a 1-2. Bop, bop, bop. And Zhang is going block right counter, block left right, block straight hook. Super, super difficult, incredibly difficult, and incredibly challenging. But Zhang is not always turned on like this. He's not always looking to interact with stuff. A few things. One of the things that makes that easy to tell, well, it's a stepping jab. Number one, if the guy throws a stepping jab and he doesn't throw a right hand and you block and you throw a 2-3, excellent sequence for you. If the guy does and you go block and you throw your two at the same time, he's throwing it at the old head position, you counter, you throw a two, you hit him with a three as well, excellent sequence for you. Where's the downside? If you're faster than your opponent, doing your two when he goes 1-2 and you go block two, right? Now, obviously, you're still moving your head. He does not necessarily knows that you're going to move your head. He still might catch you, whatever. But he uses this tactic multiple times against Parker. Okay. However, there are times where he doesn't move his head at all. And in this time, Parker just walks onto his line, boom, and throws a right hand. Now, Deontay Wilder will often throw his right hand, and he'll try to sneak onto the line. He won't control. He won't do this. He'll just throw it. He doesn't throw an overhand right. He throws a straight right. Now, if Zhang is trying to block the straight right, and he allows, okay, now here's the part. This is the part that's really important because Wilder sucks at circling. He's really bad at it. Okay? Really bad at controlling space. He doesn't have a lot of traps. But Zhang's not always checked in. He's not always doing the best defense. He's not always looking to knock you out. Sometimes he's looking to rest. Sometimes, sometimes, right? Sometimes there's going to be holes. Okay. Now again, he jumps on the line with the 1-2 here, and Zhang is what? Trying to parry with the rear hand against the rear hand. Not only is it like super dangerous, right? He's wrong, by the way. We can see that Parker goes to the body with this shot. But but the straight right, because of the fact that Zhang doesn't put on a lot of pressure, because Zhang doesn't, he's not super high activity, because he gasses, because all of these things, Wilder is not a super activity type of fighter either. Again, cracking him with the rear hand. He was still hitting him with the left, by the way. There's gonna very likely crossing his line, checking his line right here. Oh, what do you think about that? Oh, check the line again. Boom. Smash him with this shot and drops him. Now, Zhang was arguably winning the fight. This is in the third round with Parker. He was arguably winning the fight. And then he gets dropped here. And Zhang was arguably. And then Parker goes on to like dominate him. Kinda. Like Zhang gets tired. Doesn't throw that many punches. Parker is mostly trying to circle and survive. He's mostly just trying to move around. He's mostly trying to cutting the ring off, forcing him to go right. Again, Wilder is not that good at going to the right, controlling, faking with the hook, control, smashing with the 2. Again, I think the rear hand probes those kinds of shots into a 2-3, 2. Again, the hand speed, once he knows he's got you, is just insane. Very, very difficult to fight. But Zhang is not always putting on a ton of pressure. He's not always gonna put you in a position where you're about to lose the fight. And because of the fact that sometimes he'll literally just walk into punches because he's not really turned on, he's not really paying attention, he's not really, you know, there's a chance for Wilder. There's an opportunity for Wilder to maybe land a rear hand. Because again, he's dominating, right? Boom. Look at him try to block this punch. Again, the rear hand, maybe if that was a rounded punch, maybe Zhang would have blocked it, right? But a straight punch coming through the guard at this angle, right? Because that one is a hard one to block. And if you don't know how blocking is supposed to work, then this is one of the best things you can hope for. No, then don't try to block the straight rear hand if you don't know how. But Parker right here is fighting at the same disadvantage that Ortiz was. Okay, and this is really, really, really important, okay? Because again, when I talk about Zhang kind of falling asleep, Zhang getting tired, he let a guy who had a similar disadvantage in height and reach as Ortiz to Wilder, and Ortiz never got close enough to Wilder until he really tried to start putting it on, and we saw what happened when he did that. He got knocked out right away, immediately. So I'm curious to see what happens when Zhang gets close to Wilder and he doesn't know how much danger he's in. When he gets to the line and Wilder is allowed to throw a rear hand at him. Now, Again, jumping on the line, throws the very obvious 1-2. Zhang landing the hook here. I think that he is also eating the rear hand from Parker. Again, there's going to be an inevitableness in this fight, and I don't know who's going to come out ahead. I think that there is a chance. I'm giving man, to be honest, I think I'm giving 30% shot that Wilder wins this fight. 30% shot. I think that Zhang is more sturdy. He's got more tools. But Zhang does put himself in a position to get hit. He's not just trying to have a perfect fight. Now again, control, timing that stepping jab perfectly. 2-3. And again, is this the best defense? He's just playing pity pat with him, right? Standing right in front of this guy. And look, was he worried about a rear hand coming from Parker here? That would have been perfect timing if Parker would have thrown that as a punch. Again, he starts playing. And again, this is not playing, obviously. But it winds up being the only opportunity that Wilder actually has is that if Zhang is letting him throw that rear hand. Now, again, overall fight philosophy, what's going to happen? Well, they're both going to throw some bombs early. I don't know if anybody's going to get knocked out, but I do think that number one, Wilder's going to be the first guy to get hit and hit hard. I think he has way more holes than Zhang. I think the holes that Zhang has are going to be exposed when he's going for the KO, when he's really trying to get planted. And once he figures out, if he figures out that Wilder has any power and Wilder is capable of throwing rear hands at him, that might slow him down and make him be more cautious, which will only allow Deontay Wilder to throw more right hands at him and give Zhang an even worse opportunity to win the fight. So it's this very, very, very interesting, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't kind of thing for Zhang, because his guard suffers so much. But I think that if Zhang keeps a tight guard, now this one's deceiving because Parker jumps on the line, boom, that was the first feint. Zhang slips to the inside to throw that rear hand. He's cracking him here with the right hand and the left hook here, or the right hook. Sorry, left hand and then the right hook here. Now, this is our last clip here. So, gets on the line with the jab here, right? And again, he's not always being the most careful. Toward the end, jab, pendulum, walks into the hook. Okay. I don't think that Wilder is going to win the fight here. But if he can threaten some space of Zhang, if he can keep him off of him, if he can, then maybe he can, stall out enough to tire Zhang. And that's another thing. Because Wilder doesn't really throw that many punches, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for him to tire Zhang out and not allow Zhang to tire himself out punching Wilder in the face, And the latter is very, very, very bad for Deontay Wilder. Okay. So here we go to the Fouts Boxing Combat System quiz question. All right. What is the reason that Deontay Wilder's circling is so bad. Okay. Now, this is going to be a two-parter. Okay. You have to answer that correctly. And then also, if you had to write a game plan for Deontay Wilder, what would it be? Okay, for your chance to win the free copy of the Fouts Boxing Combat System. um, Answer it in the comments below and come back the day before weigh-ins. Actually, the day after media workouts and the media workout video, I'll be announcing a winner, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to take a look at um, the the comments and then pick a winner. And I'll announce a winner during that video. Um, hopefully there's enough clips to make a We Fight How We Train of that video. So, though that's the film study, I don't really have a final prediction yet. My initial prediction again is that Zhang is probably going to win. Most of the skills and the sequences are going to favor him by a small margin, but small margins when you both are landing with power, um, you got to favor the guy who the small margins favor. You know, Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, the small margins they favored Devin Haney. However, the power favored Ryan Garcia. The few times that Ryan Garcia was going to inevitably land, right, and then the few times that Devin Haney was gonna inevitably land, or rather, the few times Ryan Garcia was gonna land, he was gonna hurt Devin Haney. The few times that Devin Haney was gonna land, he was not necessarily gonna hurt Ryan Garcia. He did hurt him, and I did predict that he would hurt him, but not be able to follow up and knock him out. Anyway, um, in this fight, Zhang also has power. Wilder's definitely has some inevitability with his right hand. He carries power all the way to the 12th round, just like he knocked down Tyson Fury. But Deontay Wilder looks really bad when he gets hurt. He looks really bad. His footwork is really bad, and I do think Zhang is going to land the first hard shot. I think that part's inevitable. I think Zhang most of the time, you know, the idea that Wilder looks like he's on Bambi legs, he's like zombieing around, like he's in The Walking Dead, and then all of a sudden, 1-2, and then you're down, and you're like, huh, what in the hell? But Zhang can do that off of lead hand control. You think you're just chilling, and all of a sudden he's got a rear hand in your face. He can touch your lead hand and then throw that rear hand, or he can just throw that rear hand as you're trying to touch his lead hand. He can do that and throw a three. He can do that, throw a three, and then pendulum and throw a two. He's so much faster and explosive. It's just whether or not he'll be able to get it done. And I think that comes down to the ref. You know, um, Wilder took a beating in his fight with Fury. You know, I'm not sure if I don't remember if there were very many moments in the fight with Parker that they should have stopped the fight with Wilder. But if the referee is kind, or cruel and lets the fight go, there's a little bit more inevitability for Deontay Wilder to land that right hand if he can recover. But because he looks so bad when he gets hit and hurt, and Zhang doesn't look like he's gonna tire, right? It's not like it looks like he's like almost gassed, He's insanely explosive, and then he is really conservative, you know. So I don't know. It's a tough one to call. I'm still not sure, but my preliminary pick right now is Zhang, with obviously Deontay Wilder at a puncher's chance.